Grace and peace, everyone. This is Leslie D. Lemon, and you are now tuned in for another episode of Don't Complain Activate. And I have a very, very special guest, my good sis, Carissa Sutton. Thank you for being in the building today.
Thank you for having me. This has been a long time coming.
It really has. I tell you all the time, you just are such a light in this world, and have always been so gracious with me, and I really appreciate it.
Well, you have been the reason why I got started in all my activation. Don't Complain Activation. We start there.
Period. Okay, well, first, tell the people a little bit about you. Look, always want to give people flowers. I love that. That's why you bless, okay? But start by telling the people who are not familiar, who is Carissa Sutton?
Sure. So, my name is Carissa Sutton. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Minnesota. I am the former Minneapolis NAACP housing chair, where I spent a number of years giving information to the community during the eviction moratorium. We hosted several rent help pop-ups. We were very activated in the eviction moratorium. We did so much for the community during that time.
Yes.
I also was part of the political action committee where we did a lot of get out the votes. I did a lot with my sis Leslie.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm a single mom, 4 kids. I spent 20 plus years in banking, finance, and financial crimes. And with that, I've transferred over to real estate, but I use my license differently, right? I use my license for community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that get in the business just to make money.
Right.
I get in the business to give back and use my license because, and I'll tell you guys the story of why I got into it. So I got into real estate because my very first real estate deal that I ever did was a contract for deed, and I didn't understand the contract for anything. I was in a relationship. I was my boyfriend at the time, the bad man at the time. He thought it was the best decision for us. Oh, let's go ahead and do this contract for deed. We've been living there for a long time. We might as well invest and go for it. So I was pressured more for the family, the look of it, versus actually looking out and seeing if this is the best option for me. And the real estate agent that represented the contract, he took advantage of me. And he didn't explain that he represents the seller. He didn't explain anything. And all I knew was, I just want to be able to get out of the contract at some point. What if I need to move? Or what if something happened? And he did put that in there, but he put in there that I would lose everything I put into the house when I leave. So all the money that I put into the house was not mine at the end of the day. So that was partial of the reason why I got my real estate license. That was number one, is that I never wanted to be taken advantage of again. I wanted to understand the contracts, but then secondarily, I wanted to be able to teach the contracts and teach what happens to people in this industry. It also goes back to redlining. It goes back to all of the historical aspects that affected our community because we didn't know. Right? We didn't know. So that on top of me always wanting to be in real estate, wanting to build wealth for my family. Like I mentioned, I'm a single mom, and I want to give my kids something. I want to give them something. I want to leave them something. So there's that piece of it too. Yeah. So
no, that's powerful. So you were saying, tell the people I Don't Complain Activate motivated you. I want to hear this story. Give us a testimony story.
Listen, I have to tell you guys. So during the George Floyd uprisings, I am a Southsider for life. I was born and raised Southside Minneapolis. I grew up in the very neighborhood that George Floyd died in. I grew up on 38th and Park. I used to walk to Cub Foods. Cub Foods used to give my mom credit on days when she didn't have money to feed us, and she had to wait till her check cash. So we had a great relationship. So that stung me in a different way. And on the internet, I saw this powerful, black, educated, smart, just this powerful woman on there just talking about how you have to get up and do something.
Amen. Come on.
You can't just sit around. You want to make change. You want to do something. You got to get up off your butt and do something.
If you want to be somebody, you want to go somewhere, you gotta
wake up and pay attention.
You gotta wake up and don't complain. Activate, okay?
And she inspired me. Like, there was so much. I was watching her page. I was watching you on the news. And I'm like, let me find this girl. And I found you, and I came up to Sammy's.
I remember that day. Rest in peace to
we love you. I just walked past there, and I went up to Sammy's, and I met Leslie, and I wouldn't go away. Her and Angela.
Yeah, and let me just say something too, because look, now let me turn this thing around and say something to these people. Because sometimes y'all don't give grace to people who are activating. You get what I'm saying? There is no blueprint on how to lead during a global pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a global uprising. There is no blueprint. And I was 27, 28 at the time. You know what I mean? Extremely young. Had just finished my JD MBA. Like the whole time I was leading, there was no roadmap. It really me, God, and the team activating. And you are a great example of what it looks like to not only be inspired, but to activate. Right? And to say, hey, these are my skill sets. I want to support. How can I jump in? Okay, who do I need to connect with? You know, like you are the definition of what we need when people are going to activate. Because what I've noticed is some people come in and like me, I'm a very self-sufficient, you know, I take initiative. That's not everybody's leadership style, right? Like some people need you to hold their hand. And I've grown in my leadership and I can walk people through a little bit more, but I appreciated your persistence, I appreciated your patience, and I appreciated that you really did come, see, and conquer, you know, and really activate in a major way.
Yeah,
shout out to you.
Thank you. No, shout out for you for even leading the way and making that possible. Like you paved the way. Like if you didn't have Don't Complain, Activate, there would have been none of that. Like at that time, everything that was George Floyd and the uprisings was from us, right? Yeah. We were out in community. We were getting resources. We were out protecting the community. We were doing it all. Yeah. And none of us had the skill set. Right? None of us knew.
Jumped right in.
And I jumped in. I was organizing. I was doing all this, and I know there was a lot of people with ego wanting to, you know, bully you around.
Oh my God, the ego. Not just, let me tell you something. People really gave me a headache. And that's what I'm saying about you. And there's this, talking to one of my friends the other day, and she was saying how her mom says, everybody that shows up is not here to help. You get what I'm saying? Some people, what we were talking about before, is like, they have their own agendas, you know? And some people just want to be in front of the camera. Yeah. Some people just want clout. Some people just want positions and politics. Yeah. But you were really there for the right reasons. You really wanted to help, and I always tell people, the Bible says you will know a tree by its fruit, okay? Yes. You will know a person by its fruit. So you gotta ask, what did you do? Yeah. You know what I mean? When you just sit around complaining, because I promise you, there are people complaining all day long. Don't activate is a real thing, okay? There are people that really just be complaining, ain't activated a day in their life, but they don't want to show up and get some FaceTime for the camera, and it's so annoying to me. Like, I don't really care who get FaceTime with the camera, but do some work. And you really did some work.
And I didn't want the FaceTime.
No.
I didn't want the camera.
You and Angela, y'all were like behind the scenes really holding it down. And a lot of people question, you know, like, well, why was Angela the president next? I said, y'all, on a serious note, Angela really putting in work. She was. Like, for real, for real.
We was doing
She deserved to be the next president. She do.
She did.
And it wasn't also for y'all people that be minding my business. I'm not a dictator. I did not decide that. The NAACP voted on it, okay? Like, I'm bitten now.
Sure did.
No,
it's coming up.
Help me, Jesus. Okay,
but she did a lot. We did a lot, you know, behind the scenes.
And we needed people like you all the time. God knew exactly when the scene would end. And I thank God that I could be an inspiration. But most importantly, I thank God for you and that you activated.
Thank you.
And now you are not only killing it in the real estate world, my sis is an author, okay? You are the author of your first year in real estate. Tell us about this book and what you hope it will accomplish.
Yeah, so the reason why I wrote the book is because I already had a vision and a plan for my real estate business before I even started. Like I mentioned to you guys, I'm all purpose driven, I'm all God driven, and I got in this business to help other people, right? So as I got my success in the first year, I noticed a lot of the training was geared towards not people of color, right? So a lot of my book talks about what it is for being a perspective of a black woman, a first generation real estate agent, up against, you know, a mostly male, white, you know, area. So I wrote the book for all the agents who are in my inbox asking me questions. They want to know how I did it. They want to know what I could do. They want to follow me. They want to do this and that. So I did the book and I did coaching and I'll do all those other things because I'm one of those sisters who I don't hide my hand, right? There's this, my favorite saying is from T.D. Jakes, and he says about giving one beggar, showing another beggar where they got the bread from.
Come on.
So what he means by that is, at some point I was a beggar.
Yeah.
At some point I needed it.
Come on.
Now I found it. Somebody showed me the way.
Oh, I love
now
that.
I turned around and they want to find a way.
I love that.
So I'm saying, hey, come this way. This is where I got my bread from.
Amen.
This is it. So it's my way of giving back. It's my way of not, I'm not leaving no stone unturned.
I love
I'm passing that out. And for anyone who's interested in getting in the real estate business from a different perspective, because everything's copy and paste when you go to certain places. And it doesn't work for the Black community in some aspects. And that's where I've been kind of having this rift at again. So like, I'm in another situation like, when I activated with you, is now I'm activated in this space.
A new spirit influence.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, they not really about that. Like I'll go out and hold up a picket sign, and I'll go, I'm not really, So I'm like, now I'm in a space where I have to build that because there's not other agents building this type of program, especially for our people,
right?
And then also for our clientele.
Yes,
because we've had so much discrimination, right?
100%, and because you lived it, you've experienced it, you watched your mom experience. I would say there's some stuff you can't teach. You either know it or you don't. There's some things that only experience can teach.
Oh yeah.
So tell me, what has your experience been like as a Black woman in this industry?
I feel like there's two parts of me in that. Because there's a part of me that feels like I have to conform in order to get further. But then there's that Black activist part of me that says, I'm still gonna show up with my Biggie shirt on with this,
right.
with a blazer on top of it, my Black excellence or something.
Yeah.
So that's like, the little bit of the rebel in me that says, I'll do it your way, but I'm also gonna shake it up a little bit.
Yeah. But you won't break my soul.
You won't break my soul.
Period. I love that. So what's been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned on this journey from going, even speak a little bit about going from banking to real estate and like what that journey was like, and then one of the biggest lessons that you learned from it?
See, I think wide range. I still feel like across the board, like even in banking, there was systemic racism.
For sure, so much in banking,
Then you pass it on, you go into real estate and you see it then. So like my biggest thing is like when I see it, I want to activate on it like my good sis.
Come on.
Every time I see it and I go through a situation where it looks unfair or someone's being mistreated, someone's being misguided, or there's someone who has microaggressions or other aspects that show not necessarily what discrimination was back in the day. It's not outright blatant anymore, but they do still show up in other ways. So I think for me, transferring from both places is still building my strength, being able to speak back and being able to, not be bullied. I think that's where it is, just building your courage, being around, powerful people. My good sis, having a lot of folks around me that keep me, level-headed so that I can fight those battles. Because I think no matter what, that's what it boils down to.
So in addition, you have a single moms cohort that's going on, right?
Yes.
And you have your co-founder. Is your co-founder in the studio?
She's my partner. Yes.
So I want to give you a moment for both of y'all to talk a little bit about what is this single mom cohort and what are you all trying to accomplish? Okay, so you can start and introduce and just talk about it a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. So this is my sister and friend, nonprofit partner, Rakita Dumbe. She is part of the Single Moms Homeownership Cohort. It's a cohort that we created to give back to not only just Black single mothers, but just give back to single mothers, period. The organization itself is based on self-empowerment and also homeownership options. So we support the mom, and then we also give them homeownership options as well, how to get there.
So that's what we're doing. We just launched our second one. We are graduating our second cohort on Saturday. So another group of 7 moms will be graduating, and we're continuing to roll it out. Fall 2025, and then we rolling out the third one. We already have our wait list rolling for that. So if you're interested in joining, please tap in ASAP.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell the people, how can they find information? How can they find you all? And also tell us, how did this come about, right? What was the inspiration for this?
So I was introduced to Carissa by Becca from Emerge Mothers Academy, and Becca just kind of gave me the go-ahead to connect with Carissa and get things rolling. When I connected with you, you were kind of just like, I have this idea, I want to work with single moms. I just started the nonprofit for working class single moms, so it just kind of aligned.
Yes.
And so we worked diligently
We did.
for months.
I feel like it was God led because I feel like the moment I met her energy, I just knew I could just activate. So it was like another moment of activation. Like once I met that energy, she was like that power, that strength behind me that I felt like I needed. That one other person who could just make me do it. Because I had the program already designed for many years. I had it in the back of my mind even before I became a real estate agent. Because the point of this was to give back and to help other single moms, right? Because when we look at we look at the home ownership rates, then we also look at the rates of the children who grow up in a home and they're displaced and things like that. I wanted to have a program that speaks to that gap, right? That more children who grow up not in a stable environment where they end up, right? So it's about the mom, uplifting, supporting, encouraging, and providing as much resource as we can for her. But that also trickles down to the children. And that's like that double factor, right? Is that, yes, if we can get a single mom supported, we can get her to the place of bringing her to a place where she has community, she has friendships, she has resources, and stability for her children. That then speaks down to the children, and that makes a difference for the community going forward. So that was some of the reason why I created it. I just needed that powerhouse behind me to kind of push me through to get the funding and to do all the things. But that's the reason.
Yes. So together we were able to actually get this school kicked off and started. And currently we're continuing to work on more projects, more dreams come true, bringing affordable housing to the moms. So that's super exciting that's in the works as well.
Yes, we have so many things coming. If you guys are interested in sponsoring a single mom, we have sponsorships. I would say we can give your information for sponsorships.
Yes, if you're interested in connecting for sponsorships or to learn more and to get signed up for the cohort, reach out to me directly. Website is thriveresourcehub.org, or you can email me at Rekita, REKITA, at thriveresourcehub.org, and Thrive Resource Hub across all social media.
Absolutely. And if you want to reach out to me directly about the cohort, if you have questions, if you're a single mom, or if you're thinking about getting into real estate and you don't know where to begin, I'm happy to help you with all of those options. You can reach me at my email, Corissa, CORISSA, at CorissaSutton.com. And you can also reach me in my website, CorissaSuttonEnterprises.com. Google me, you'll find me.
Love it. Carissa, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of being a real estate agent?
I think finding yourself and getting business, right? I think people automatically think that when you get a real estate license, everyone's gonna just come to you and use you. And really there's a lot more that goes into actually choosing a real estate agent, right? Not because, oh, you're my cousin, you're my friend, but if you don't have all the skills and resources, you're actually setting them up for failure, right?
Exactly.
If you don't know the right products and the right people, there could be things that you're missing in the process.
Yeah.
So I think development of yourself and actually getting involved in the community and the programs and learning your actual niche. So if you're going to work with people 500,000 and above only, then you need to specify and really train yourself as an expert in that area so that you can really serve them appropriately. 100%. I get so many clients who come to me and say, I had a horrible experience with a real estate agent. I had a horrible experience with a lender. And that's because people do this across the board, how they treat folks, right? And not everyone deserves to be treated that way. And then there's some stereotypes and ideas of like people under a certain threshold, which I actually work, underneath that threshold, but I made myself an expert in the field. I don't just say I'm an expert. I actually go out and you can see me sitting in communities, shaking hands, knowing C-suite folks who actually run programs so that I can give my clients the best experience, the best products, the best programs. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to just fluff.
When you think of the systemic issues and barriers that are continuing to hold us as a community back, what do you think is one of the, I won't say quickest solution, but opportunity for most effective solution that we could not easily, but more easily attain? Is there an area, is there something from the legislative side or from the banking side, or What is some of the things or things that you see that could change?
Well, we have a lot of great legislators out, putting out great things like Representative Abache. I worked on her campaign for a long time, and she put out, the down payment assistance programs that we're all using right now. So we have a lot of those things in place. I think education and belief that it's possible. I think our mindset, a lot of our mindset is scarcity, lack, and also renters, right? We're so conditioned to have someone having control over us and dangling that. I think turning that aspect around and getting power in that. Like, I loved, when I was on the NAACP housing chair, I loved being a representation for our clients who were saying that they were being discriminated against, because that was my chance to hop in and turn the page and talk to the landlords and let them know, like, we're not playing with you. What are you, racist? What's going on? What's happening? So I think education is number one.
That's good.
Across the board. And then definitely just believing in yourself, that you can advocate for yourself. And you can be powerful for yourself, and you can change the narrative, and you can change the story at any point.
I love that. In your book, you talk about the importance of coaching and mentorship. If someone is looking for coaching and mentorship, what do you think are some of the first steps that they could take?
Yeah, so first steps is obviously your brokerage. Your brokerage is the foundation that you set your business on. So choosing the right place to put your business is top tier, right? So if you're looking to have a coach within your brokerage, that's a great place to start. But if you were like me and you looked around and there was no one who looked like you, sounded like you, talked like you, had customers like you, then you end up feeling like, I need more. So figuring out what matters to you before you go to coaching, right? And then having other mentors, right? In the book, I do talk about they're not all the same person, right? So I have a coach, a mentor, and they're in all different aspects, right? I have my single moms folks, I have my business, I have my brand manager. You gotta have a circle of people around you to build you up. But I think first, get clear on what you want to do and who you want to serve, and how you can be an expert in that. Then someone can coach you. Because if you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, we don't know what we're coaching. Right?
Exactly.
And if you're just in it part time because you want to get some money to go out of